And this really is why you're better off using the turning angle tool, because up here now this bit doesn't have to be quite as heavy, and neither does this bit. It needs to be that fraction heavier coming down here, and we can visually balance that when we lay our column tool. And you can't really alter your thicknesses when you're using the satin line tool. Right, now that's as far as I'm going to take it, because we've got some pretty nasty tight corners in there. Generate stitches. Okay, here it didn't make us an inner curve. Okay, it came down, it crossed on itself. That's another reason why it's no good. Same on this one, it came down, crossed on itself. On this one, yes, it's made a corner. So that's one of the limitations of using the satin line. And let's look at that in 3D. See, that's quite yuggy, and that's not very nice. I've got my dragon's teeth showing there. I don't need those showing. I've still got a couple of dragon's teeth there, so I have to bear that in mind when I'm laying my column tool nodes. And I'm going to use this as a guide to keep my width fairly constant. Okay, I'm going to continue that a little bit further on. So I'll go back into normal, cause edit. And I see up here, I can afford to thin this down a bit when I get here with my column tool. It doesn't need to be as wide as what is going around here, because here are my dragon's teeth for making absolutely certain that the edges of my fabric, which remember I cut inside this line, are caught down by this zigzag. So I can go from 3 to 2.5, and if I do it correctly, it won't be noticeable. Unless you've got somebody who comes out with a pair of calipers and measures it. You always get one of those. Like those people who go to craft fairs and they're looking at things and go, oh, that's not done very well, is it? I could do better than that. And I sometimes feel like screaming at them, then why don't you? Put your money where your mouth is and start producing. And there have been occasions when I have passed remarks similar to that, maybe not quite as rudely, but I think they've got the message. Because I get tired of hearing people saying, oh, they aren't very good, are they? Well, at least they've made an effort, which is darn sight more than you've done. And if you were as talented as you make out you were, you'd be doing it, not criticising those who do. I'm afraid they really get on my goat. And then around the cherry. Now this is where I was concerned about the bulk of the stitching here. Come on, sweetheart, come on down here. Come and meet your brothers and sisters. Okay, now I think you've got the general picture. And I just drop that up into there. Generate. There we go. And of course I can't control these angles now. I can't control any of these because it's a certain line. It's not the column tool. And up on this one, he didn't put the tip in. So the column tool allows us to put these in and these. It also allows us to thin when we get up to here without it being too noticeable, and the same when we're going up sides. Well, not so much here because that's a hole, but here I can thin it down a little, and here I can thin it down a little. And I'll be using this as a guide for laying my nodes in a moment when I get my column tool. And I want to go back into the normal 3D and pull down a colour that I can actually see through so as I can digitize it. There we go. Let's drop that down. Isn't that a glorious colour? We've had all these different shades. Look at that. Blue and green should never be seen lest with a colour in between. Wonder how many of you remember that. I love blue and green. My grandmother used to go spare. You can't wear that, Maggie, because I might have a blue jumper on over a really vivid green skirt. I'd say, why not? I like it. I never did have any colour sense. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.